What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences. It's called Universal Mastery, and I break them down to a practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual, tangible results. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about in today's video is something that is absolutely essential if you are beginning to study the occult and just in general to understand this. This understanding that I'm going to talk about in this video can offer you tons of value if you can actually integrate what I'm explaining. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about specifically in this video is the importance of understanding how energy works. Okay, from an evolutionary standpoint, what exactly is energy? How does it affect you? And what is the importance of it? Okay, so if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm talking about, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so the first thing that I want to address is negative energy. Okay, it's the first thing I want to jump out of the gate with because there are so many people that do not understand energy. They don't understand how energy works. So I'm going to explain this so that hopefully it can offer you immense amounts of value moving on in your future if you integrate what I'm explaining. So there are a lot of people, especially in the New Age community, that are light workers, that only work with light, like to stay away from dark, like to stay away from quote-unquote evil, darkness, anything that could be looked at as negative potentially. And there is a large, and I mean large, group of people that have this idea that darkness, that negative energy, that the darker aspects of life are something that you should spend huge amounts of energy pushing away and staying away from. Now, what I'm going to explain right now is why that is going to fuck you over. Okay? Here it is. Okay? So when it comes to power, that is why every one of us as a human being does what we do. On an energetic level, that's what I'm talking about. We do what we do so that we can raise our energy, so that we can get more connected to our own evolution, to source, and so that we can have more of an impact or influence on our environment around us and ourself. Have more mastery over the self, which is, in a nutshell, power, which is raising the power. So every human being, from an energetic standpoint, is looking to increase their power. It is in our human nature. It is how we're made. Okay? Now, you will have some people that will deny this. Anyone who denies this is an idiot because it's in your nature. It's like trying to deny that oxygen doesn't exist because you can't see it. Okay, oxygen for sure exists, even though you can't see it necessarily. Okay, so as I was saying, there is a large group of people that are afraid of dark energy, dark matter energy, negative energy, and they actually exert a lot of their own energy to stay away from anything that gives them the influence of that negative polarity, that negative charge, that thing that they're looking at like, oh, you talk about death. Oh, you talk about dark things, bad intentions. I'm going to stay 100 feet away from you because that energy I don't want that energy near me. Now, I understand balance, and I understand that balance is key. You know, there are definitely things in life that you want to be aware of and be like, okay, this is not in my best interest. Let me stay away from that. But if you're in the mind frame that's trying to identify everything that has a negative polarity or a negative charge, if you're in the mindset where you're trying to stay away from everything that has that influence, you're only fucking yourself over, because that's not balance, okay? Balance is embracing light, and balance is embracing darkness evenly, okay? So that means that you want to go about your life being open for experiences, being open for hearing different perspectives, and learning something new. But if you're always identifying and connecting, oh, this person, you know, talks about death, so that means everything that they have to say is negative, so I'm going to stay away, then you're screwing yourself over. Okay, and I'm just saying this, that this is a fact, and there's tons of people that are in this mindset, once again, especially in the New Age community, that try to stay away from darkness, and they have no idea of the evolutionary purpose of dark energy. So I'm going to give you another example. When you look at a battery, there is a positive charge and a negative charge. If you put that battery into something, it will bring to life whatever it is that you put into it that requires the battery. If I was to take away the negative charge on that battery, it would not bring to life that thing that the battery needs to go into. Taking away the negative charge, okay? It will not work. It will not come to life. So what we can take from this, and from an energetic standpoint, is that in order for a tool that requires a battery to work, it needs a positive and a negative charge to work. So human beings, being me and you, we don't operate much differently than that. It is that simple, okay? So when we look at the positive charges and the negative charges in our life, and we identify with one of them and say the other one is no good, then you are preventing yourself from your own evolution. Okay, you're preventing yourself from reaching your own highest potential. And this is just a fact, and we're talking about it from an energetic standpoint. Okay, so you could tell me your morals all day. You could tell me your religious beliefs all day. Oh, my religious belief says this and this and this and this and this. And this is why I'm not religious. And this is why I don't give a fuck about your morals. Because I'm not looking at your morals. I'm not looking at your religion. I'm looking at what is actually happening from a scientific perspective in regards to energy and what's going to be effective for a human being to evolve. So all that other shit you can put to the side. And this is a mindset that you probably will want to adapt moving into the near future, because we are going to have periods in our evolution in our near future that are going to require you to adapt these mindsets, or else you are going to be at risk. And when I say at risk, I mean your health and everything that you are. If you don't know how to evolve by adapting these mindsets, which are geared towards the laws of evolution, you're at risk, okay? And your life could potentially be in danger. That's how evolution works. Remember, nature works in the context of survival of the fittest. Now, to be fit means you are healthy, okay? It means that you are trying to become your best self, okay? You're gonna make mistakes. That's fine, okay? We are all human. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna go down the wrong path. You're gonna do the wrong things. But if you can make a mistake and learn from that mistake and try not to do it again in the future, that's evolution. But if you're identifying with something and you don't fully understand why you're identifying with something, maybe you're identifying with this thing because other people have told you this. Okay, this is common. A lot of people identify with certain concepts, especially in regards to this light working mentality, everything's love, everything's light, because other people in the community have programmed them to believe that. And once again, you do whatever you want to do. I am not here to convince you. Sometimes I say things that come off so honest and real that it sounds like I'm trying to convince you, but I'm not. I promise. You go down whatever path you want to. At the end of the day, I understand how energy works, and whether you believe it or not is not going to affect my life, okay? So when I'm sharing this information, I'm really putting it out there. So for the people that are going to receive it, hopefully this can be that extra step towards your own evolution, as I said from the beginning of this video. But this is a major thing that is going on in regards to energy. You know, people tend to forget that there is a dark side of evolution, which has everything to do with death. Remember, death leads to rebirth. So if you don't understand death, then you will not get a rebirth, okay? Has everything to do with death. It has everything to do with vampirism in regards to being in situations that suck away your energy, okay? There comes a time where you will find yourself in certain circumstances where it literally feels like your energy is being sucked away. Now, you can adopt a mindset that's like, I will never put myself in a situation like that ever again. I will never do that. Or you could adopt the mindset that says, you know what? I'm aware that it felt like my energy was being sucked. But although my energy was being sucked away, was there something there that I could have learned? And if I keep putting myself in that same situation, now that I'm approaching it from the perspective of, is there something I can learn? Is it going to be able to take my energy as much as it did the first time? And the second time, and the third? Will I eventually be able to be around those situations where I'm actually not losing energy anymore, even if the people around me are trying to take it? That's how evolution works. You will eventually build up a resistance, just like with a virus, your body will create antibodies if you're healthy. Same thing energetically. If you find yourself around environments where there's a lot of vampiric types of people, instead of labeling them as, that's a vampire, I stay away from these people, this and that, and it's these people that are doing this to my energy, and they always do it, so I never will find myself. Instead of pointing the finger and playing the victim game and saying it's them and they're doing this and they're this, instead of giving your power away, how about you say, you know what, next time I see that person, I'm going to try and understand what they're doing by just observing it. So if they're going to take my energy, I'll let them take my energy. And I'll go to them the second time, do the same thing. And every time I go to them, I'm going to learn something new about them until it gets to a point where they're no longer getting the energetic exchange from me. Because what's the worst that can happen if someone's taking away your energy? The worst thing that can happen is they take away your energy and you rebuild energy. So they're going to take away an aspect of yourself that is energetic, only to get replaced by new energy when you separate from that person eventually. Okay? This is all energetic. This is all how energy works. Okay? People don't understand this though. People like to label, they like to point the finger, they like to play the blame game. So this is why it's important to understand the darker side of evolution. So when you hear about things in regards to the devil come up, when you hear things in regards to Satan come up, when you hear things in regards to doing shadow work, when you hear things that scare you, right, that can actually produce fear in you because you've been told that this is bad or this is wrong, this is negative. It's those same things that you fear that have the answers and that have the energetic properties for your own evolution, for you to actually get rid of your anxiety, to get rid of your fear towards that thing. So this is one thing that a lot of people don't understand in regards to anxiety, how to overcome anxiety. And guess what? It's simple. How do you do it? You go into the situations that produce the most anxiety for you. And the more you're embracing it, the more you're surrounding yourself with that experience, it is going to feel a little bit overwhelming. It's going to be like your anxiety is going to rise. But guess what? In that moment, you can recognize that you are in a state of panic. You are in that state of heightened anxiety. And if you're aware of that, then you just became the observer. So rather than feeling it and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Get my medication, this and that, I'm panicking. But feeling it to the same intensity, but recognizing that it's an emotion, okay? You're standing there. The reality is you're most likely safe. 99% sure you're safe, but your environment is overwhelming you, producing that emotion that makes you want to lock onto the emotion and then react from that. But if you can stand there and be aware of the emotion and just be aware of it, the more you feel it, that the anxiety, the more you're going to embrace it and the more it's able to integrate in your physical body, in your spirit, and in your psychological state of mind. It's going to actually process, like a computer processes a new program or a new update every now and then, like the phones get new updates. It needs to download. So you're in that stage of downloading that emotion that scares you, and the more you download it, the more regular it becomes to you, so you recognize it more, and then it no longer has the same effect on you. All by embracing. And guess what that's called? Alchemy. Okay, this is how you do mental alchemy. You do mental alchemy, you do emotional alchemy, you do physical alchemy. Anyone who's a gym addict, any of my gym buddies out there, women and men, we are all doing alchemy on our physical bodies. We are breaking down muscle and we are rebuilding new muscle. We are burning away fat. This is all alchemy. Same thing happens with your psychological state. Same thing happens with your emotional state. The exact same thing. And that is what embracing darkness is to go into these circumstances and situations that scare you the most, to only realize they're not what you were told they were. It's not as scary as you thought it was. And if it is as scary as you thought it was, the more you embrace it, the more you sit with it, meaning you go to it today, kind of scary, you go to it tomorrow, still kind of scary, you go to it the third day, a little bit less scary, but it's still scary. You go to it the fourth day, a little less scary, but it's still scary. You go to it the fifth day, and it lowers and lowers and lowers until you understand it. And when you understand it, that is when you're in a state of evolution. Because now you can use fear as a compass. What are the things that I'm afraid to do? And then you go and you do those things and you realize, why was I so afraid after some time? And this is how you empower yourself. Because when you're putting yourself in those circumstances, you are downloading those experiences energetically. So your mind is operating off certain belief systems that has barriers built in. What I mean by that is that your mind is telling you certain things about your reality that you should never experience and that you can never experience, because if you do, then boom will happen, blank will happen, and that's the barrier. But if you can go and do that thing, and then that barrier that tells you if you do that thing, something bad's gonna happen, and if you do that thing and it doesn't end up happening, then you dissolve the barrier psychologically and spiritually. That means the barrier is no longer going to exist after a while, because your mind's gonna be telling you, this is what's gonna happen if you do this, this is what's gonna happen if you do this. And then if you do it enough and it doesn't happen, you start to realize that was your own delusion. That was your own made up idea of what you thought was gonna happen, okay? So this is the importance of understanding energy. Negative energy is just as important as positive energy. The truth is you want to embrace all of it. There are some people that identify too much with negative energy and they're not open to being receptive. They're not open to hearing new perspectives or having someone even compliment them. It's the same concept. If you have a battery and you only have a negative charge, the battery is not going to be able to do its job for whatever it's going into. You need both charges, and they are both extremely important for evolution. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button because I love to see my subscribers go all the way up. Hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can, and I guarantee I will post a video exactly when you need to see it, at the exact time that you need to see it. And then other than that, definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content that is not on my YouTube channel. That's just like this. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself so that you get 100% success with it. So for example, one of those videos, I have a couple of them, but one of them is how to do an invocation. So when it comes to occult practices, how to invocate a spiritual intelligence, that's what I teach in that video. Okay, so the other bit of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is a video that's very similar to this. The video is educational, you're getting value from it, but you can also just throw your headphones on, go about your day, and learn a lot from that. It's entertaining. And in order to gain access to these exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up in order to gain access. So to be a tier 2, it costs $9.95 a month. And that literally comes out to less than $1 a day. So if you do the math, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there. Okay, there's 4 tiers altogether. As you go up in tiers, the benefits increase. I'll let you check that out for yourself. And with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon right here, right now. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Their names are going to be mentioned right below my Patreon link right there. Okay? So other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.